Welcome to this video about my 2008 Harley Davidson VRod. In this video I'm just going to be showing you a couple of the things I've done to try and make her look a bit prettier. Basically, Harley Davidson has a habit of making really nice motorbikes, and then just when they should leave them alone they hit them with an ugly stick. So in this video I'm trying to remove that and make her look that bit nicer. If you enjoy watching this video and it's of use to you, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks very much.
When I originally bought my bike, it had a Coltwork rear seat unit on it, and it's a really cool seat unit, but the pillion seat is exceptionally small. I wanted to take my boy to school and I wanted him to be safe, and so I needed a bit of a bigger pillion and a sissy bar on the back. I had the original seat unit, but as you can see it just looks ugly. So I thought I'd try and come up with something different, and I found a different mudguard that used the original pillion seat, and that was cheap on eBay, and it was in the right colour too.
Fitting a new mudguard to the V-Rod. So Harley sticks all this heavy gauge boat anchor type steel all back here, and I've got the problem that because I fit a 240 rear wheel, I've got the narrow end here, and it's actually rubs on here, plus also the rear end. I've had to put the original sissy bar and pillion seat back, and it just looks ugly as anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop down there, and I'm going to move my indicators back onto here, take this bit off here, tidy it up, and then cut this bit somewhere up here, and then remove all of this, and then that should be a lot nicer. And then I think I'll fit a curved LED here. You can get a really nice curve one. I have to cut this back a little bit somewhere across there and then fit that. Unfortunately I have a massive number plate and there's nothing I can do about it. So this is with the mudguard off. It's got this massive sort of subframe. It's just not required. So I'll probably cut it here actually. I think I'll cut it here and just here, and that gets rid of all of that, gets the rubbing point gone. You could cut so much weight off this bike. Yeah, the Japanese got it. They take 100 kilo off the thing. Protected.
I never understand people that do cutting with angle grinders right around a car or on a bike or something and just let the metal dust spray everywhere. I don't know how they get away with it. The metal dust quite quickly burns into paint and it burns into glass. So maybe it's just me, and the simulation is just after me or something, or has a problem with me. I can't help but think that this looks quite cool like this. Maybe I should just leave it like this. Actually, no, where would the boy sit? Yeah, that might not be wise. So I think that looks a lot better. But of course I still need to put my number plate back on the back of the bike. Now, the actual rules on motorcycle number plates are not quite as straightforward. There is no legal requirement for a certain size of number plate on a motorbike. The legal requirement goes around the size of the numbers and the spacing of the numbers and the border. You have to have your number plate made by an approved registered license plate maker, and they will obviously do the correct size of the letters and spacing of the letters. However, if you go for a 6-digit number plate, in other words, get a private number plate that's 6 digits long instead of 7 digits long, then what actually happens is you actually then have a much smaller amount of numbers in the middle, and you can legally cut the number plate down so that it has just the correct border size. This is what I went and did. So I actually got a private number plate for her, and it was actually quite cheap because no one was particularly interested in the number plate I wanted. But it made sense for the bike because VRD is like VRod. So my general view with this styling is that the front of the bike always felt like it was too far back, too leaned back, and likewise the rear just poked out too far. But by putting that headlamp on the front, it feels like I've pulled the front out slightly forward, and then the rear mudguards pulled the rear in to just make her feel generally better balanced. The only real problems left in my particular eyesight here is the sissy bar, which just looks too big, and the seat, which is just too wide. But I think I can remove a bit of padding to fix that one.
So after fitting that mudguard, I finally managed to find on eBay an original Harley Davidson low sissy bar like this. It's just a really cool little accessory they came up with. It's a bit of a unicorn part and it's quite difficult to find nowadays. But I think this one must have been new out of a box because it's just perfect, no corrosion. Unfortunately, a lot of Harley Davidson parts seem to corrode very quickly. They cost a lot of money and the chrome falls off. Kind of wonder how they've managed to do that, make something so expensive that doesn't last very long. So another job I'm in the process of completing is replacing all the old manky steel bolts there that they fitted with nice new shiny stainless steel ones. It's quite a satisfying job because you literally just undo the bolt one at a time, not all of them obviously because otherwise this will fall off. Take one bolt out, stick a little bit of seal around the edge, stick it straight back in again, and it just really improves the look of the bike.
Just like with the rear seat unit, when I originally bought my bike, it came with a Coltwork headlamp unit like this. Unfortunately, I got it in my head that it looked like Wilson from Castaway. And every time I saw the bike, I just thought, Wilson! So I had to do something about it. And also, it just felt a bit flat, like you can see in this picture. It just looks a bit crushed as if it's hit something or just been pushed back on the front. So I wanted a bit of a better headlamp unit that balanced the bike and brought the front of the bike forward a bit.
So this 7-inch headlamp was actually very cheap. I got it from M&P and it was like 50 quid, I think. I got a bit of a manky sort of fitment kit for it. I'll eventually change this into stainless steel because it is a bit, it's a little bit crude and rough around the edges, and it'd be nice to have something a bit more flowing. But yeah, I think this headlamp is the right size for her because it just gives her that sort of bigger front end look to her, you know, just balances everything out. Another thing I've done here is I've fitted this little generic belly pan off of eBay. It's nice and cheap and it doesn't look wonderful when you come up close like this, but when you come slightly away from the bike you start to see that it gives that nice sort of like, you know, point out to the wheel to make it look a lot more better. I've never really liked the Harley Davidson look where this looks like this and the wheel looks like it's just chucked on the front. So it's always nice to have that sort of curve in sort of belly pan effect. In the future, it would be perhaps nice to come back and actually glass fiber something that matches into that much nicer and runs, but that I have to wait for later because I've got far too many projects to worry about at the moment. So there you go. I'm a lot happier with the design now. You've got that nice big 7-inch headlamp that sort of biggens out the front, embiggens the front and brings the front a little bit further out. That matches the nice big rear tyre. The small sissy bar, because I didn't want that big easy rider look, but I needed something to stop my boy from falling off the back of the bike when I accelerate down the road. So yeah, I'm a lot happier with it now. So if you've enjoyed this video, then please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks very much.